A wise man once said, "Knowledge is the true organ of sight, not your eyes." That wise man is 50 knowledge codes to make you wise. So in honor of Mr. 50, let us learn today from the great classic authors. We'll be dealing with the question to the answer yes. Is reading actually useful? Yes. But if yes, then why? Pursuit of aesthetic excellence, expanding your knowledge, philosophical blah blah blah. I'm here to be more specific. We're not going to generalize. We're not going to draw a box. We're not going to tell others what to learn. I'm going to tell you what to learn. So we're basically going to go through a list of classic authors and see what unique lessons you can take from them. First up, the big man himself, the bald bard. If you read him, you have the intellectual card, considered as important as the Bible, with barely a rival. A dear Shakespeare. The one important thing I've learned from Shakespeare is to steal. All his historic plays were based on history. All his other plays were based on other stuff and history, like Macbeth, based on the actual figure of Macbeth, King of the Scots. Hamlet, which was inspired by the legend of Hamlet. King Lear, which was an adaptation of the story of King Lear in the History of the Kings of Britain by Geoffrey of Monmouth. Romeo and Juliet, based on the poem The Tragical History of Romeus and Juliet. Need I go on? I hope not, because that's all I researched. But friends, aspiring writers, if you can take something and put your own spin on it or elevate it, then it's not stealing. Trying to write something original is like trying to do literally anything else, because it's just trying. You're not going to come up with something original, so might as well just steal. Next up, James Joyce. Now what a lot of people don't know about James Joyce is that he loved farts. Not in the way that you're thinking, but in a sexual way. That wasn't what you were thinking, right? But so he loved farts. Did it have any effect on the quality of his art? Maybe. I don't know. I've only read Portrait of an Artist as a young man, and it was good, but he's considered one of the greatest modernists of all time. Perhaps the greatest modernist of all time. So, I suppose the lesson here is that if you're amazing at something and people respect you, then it doesn't matter if you like farts. It doesn't matter if you have a kink in bed. You are allowed to be weird. Just look at Kanye West. Sometimes some people can be weird in certain ways, but be great in others. Even a stop clock can have a check your heartbeat feature. So, never judge a book by its cover.
Whatsoever thy hand findeth to do, do it with thy might. For there is no work, nor device, nor knowledge, nor wisdom in the grave, whither thou goest.
Let's go back in time again and deal with Charles Dickens, because the greatest thing you can take away from Dickens is a reality check. If you're an aspiring writer and you love the classics, you might want to write like the classic authors wrote. Aim for depth and beautiful poetic prose or poetic poetry. But that's just not popular today, is it? People want thrills and action and suspense, and no wonder your writings aren't popular. You aim for a type of beauty that people just don't get or aren't interested in. You see where I'm going with this? Get your head out of your ass and write something actually interesting. I don't need to read your original philosophical thoughts.
This isn't true.
That water has not always been H2O?
Yeah, all you have to do is cross the Mexican border. And over there, it's aqua.
When I can actually read a book on philosophy instead of a novel. You're not Tolstoy. You're definitely not Dickens. But you can at least learn from Dickens. What you want to share with the world. Why is it in the form of a novel, when there are so many other art forms and even non-artistic forms? Get like Dickens and aim for both sublimity and an interesting story. Okay, let's go even further back in the past and deal with Marcus Aurelius. The big lesson here is that your time will come. Marcus Aurelius's meditations were never meant to be published. They were his own personal meditations, meant for his personal guidance. But look at how revered he has come to be with time. Now, a lot of authors only become popular posthumously, and many times it's not even because they didn't want to be published in their life. Just look at the likes of Jane Austen, Herman Melville, Franz Kafka, who actually didn't want to be published like Marcus Aurelius. But what separates Aurelius from all these other authors is the lesson: just because your time will come doesn't mean it's a good thing. Now don't get me wrong, I'm as red-pilled as the Kool-Aid man, if you want me to be. But I'm not sure that Marcus Aurelius would be on board with the type of stoicism that is perpetrated today. I know this because I watched one video on the topic, and that is enough research by today's standards, I believe. So the lesson is that if you don't see success during your lifetime, then maybe it's not such a bad thing after all. I hope that helps you sleep better at night. It's okay, buddy. You can remove that 10-hour rainfall audio from your playlist. Let's wrap this up with another ancient author, Plato. And the lesson here is obvious. Fanfiction can be a serious work of literature, or philosophy in this case, as in the previous case. Not all authors want to write fiction after all. But yes, Plato in modern terminology would be called a glazer, the glazee being Socrates. You should take comfort in the fact that all of Plato's fanfic about Socrates is still studied in colleges and universities today. So, wanna write a Hamlet where Hamlet's father is alive and everyone else is a ghost? Do it.
Dane, oh, answer me!
Wanna bring Lord of the Rings to the real world and make all the elves Aryans and all the orcs non-white people? Wanna write Pride and Prejudice where there's a zombie outbreak? Well, that's already been done. But do you see? People aren't letting unoriginality hold them back. Looks like we've come back full circle. We started with steel, and we're ending with tribute, which means steel, but not really. How wonderful that aspiring writers have all these great authors to look up to and seek guidance from. The only thing left is to compete with millions of other people who are doing the same thing and traverse an industry where having connections is imperative, but you're an introvert, so that's not really your strong suit. Best of luck. I was a little late with this video because I was a bit busy with other stuff, and I'll be busy throughout this week as well, so the next video will be out the week after next week. But I'll try to get back on track and publish every Sunday. But if you did enjoy this video and want to help the channel, please like, share and subscribe.